Hey friends, still got my froggy throat. Still rocking Ghost t-shirts. This is a different one. This one actually wasn't bought from the concert that I saw the other week. This was from a shop called Damaged Society, which damagedsociety.co.uk is their web presence, and they have a shop in Manchester, and that's where I got this from. And it was in a 2 for 20, so I got this and a Bowie t-shirt, and they are great. But I digress. Hope you're all well. Welcome back if you're returning for more. Welcome if you're brand new. It's nice to have you with us. And if you are new or old, please hit the like button. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button. I know I go on like a stuck record, no pun intended, but it would help me out enormously. And don't forget to tick on my bell, my notification bell, that is, just to keep abreast of new content. So anyway, we're going to go through some 7-inch singles today. So again, going through my dad's stuff, he kindly gave me his record collection, so I've had it into mine and kind of going through it all and cataloguing it, and as I'm doing it, I'm sharing it with you guys. And I've got 10 to get through today, so I'm going to kick straight off into it because I don't like to waffle on, even though I'm really good at waffling on. So, let's go. So first off, we have Biko, Peter Gabriel, released in 1980. This is quite an interesting little record. It's 33 1/3, so it's got Biko on one side, and on the other side it's got Shosholoza, which is like an African, a bit like if you remember the African drum LP that I looked at in my last Hot Wax, that is a similar kind of song to that. And then there's Jetzt kommt die Flut, which is Peter Gabriel singing in German. And of course, the title track is about the legendary South African civil rights leader Steve Biko, who sadly died during interrogation. I think it was around 98, something like that. So yeah, that's it's a really, really nice single. It sounds really nice. This is like a proper one with a picture cover and everything. So yay, there's that one. So there's a couple of odd ones in today. There's a couple of disappointments, and you'll see why. So first off, the first disappointment is this. Now, not because it's that. If it would have been that, it would have been cracking. But sadly, it isn't that. It's a Pogue track. I don't even know what Pogue song it is, because I can't see what it is. I have played it, but I couldn't be bothered to actually look at the catalogue number for it. So yeah, spoke to my dad. He said, yeah, he lost it somewhere. He's kept the cover though. The Pogue single, for anyone that's interested, it actually sounds really good. Can't fault it. It actually, the production, the sound is great. There's great definition, and Shane MacGowan's voice sounds all Shane MacGowan-y, like he's in the room with you. But yeah, it's just a shame that this isn't in there. Aside from anything else, on the top end, this goes for about 80 quid on Discogs. Again, not that I was ever going to sell it, but yeah, it is a disappointment. So originally it would have been 1972 or 1960. I can't remember. I did write it down, but then I scribbled it out and put the Pogues, and that was released in 1989 according to the label on that record. Then next up, not a disappointment, we've got Kevin Johnson. I don't know much about Kevin Johnson, I'll be honest. So we've got the A side, which is Rock and Roll, I Gave You the Best Years of My Life, which is kind of like a weird kind of, not even really bluesy, it's a weird kind of like, I don't know, kind of, it's a ballad, like a lament, if you will, but it's quite decent. And the B side, Life Is What You Make It. Again, this is both of these are records that I wouldn't have expected my dad to have. There is a little kind of, I don't know if you can see that, but just in the centre spindle bit there, there's like a little star that's been stamped on, and there's one on that side too, which is quite amazing. I don't know what it's for, but yeah. So this was released in 1974, and it's on UK Records. and yeah, sounds decent enough. A little bit rough around the edges. On to the next disappointment. Now, Chris Rea, Road to Hell, Part 2, except it's not. It's Rufus and Chaka Khan. So that's another disappointment. This my dad didn't even know about, so he was just as shocked and disappointed as I was when I sent him a video of me putting this on and playing it. So yeah, Rufus and Chaka Khan, 1989 again. This would have been in 1989 too, I think, actually. So I've still got about 100 and odd singles to get through, so it's quite likely that it's up there somewhere, and hopefully I'll come across it. In terms of the Rufus and Chaka Khan, really nice. It actually is really well produced. Might be one for Steve. You might be able to tell us, Stevie G, my ace mate, he might be able to tell us a little bit about that, because he likes that kind of thing, I do believe. But yeah, moving on, we have the delightful Status Quo, and a 1978 release called Living on an Island by Parfit and Young, and on the B side, Runaway. So weird kind of track again. It's kind of incongruous with what you expect, a bit pretty much like Matchstick Men, because you don't, you know, you listen to like the majority of Status Quo singles and Matchstick Men stands out, and this stands out as an oddity, but it sounds phenomenal. It's on the Vertigo label. This was released in 1978. The B-side is more traditional sort of 12-bar boogie kind of that we know, you know, with the 3 chords and sort of down the line 4/4 beat. But the A-side, Living on an Island, is actually really good. And I was thinking, oh, this is going to be like pretty shit, because I've not heard of it. And around that time, I was quite, you know, I was just starting to get aware of music, and I was already familiar with Status Quo. So I was thinking, well, I don't remember ever hearing that. I don't know how well it did in the charts, but there it is. So yeah, this again, with the older singles, you put like the Pogues and the Chaka Khan on, and they sound really nice, don't get me wrong, but they're a bit flat in terms of volume, you know. And I kept the volume at the same level for all of these, and this jumps out straight away at you, as does our next entry, which is the Rolling Stones, You Better Move On, Poison Ivy, Bye Bye Johnny and Money. I don't know if you remember the last 7-inch one. I had a similar one. It was at 5x5 with like a really nice kind of like sleeve, and it's almost like it's an EP basically. It's not so much a single as an EP. It's in mono on the Decca label. You can see that there. So the Rolling Stones were formed in the early days, so there's like a little bit of a blurb about that. And it's really, really good. It's in mono, it's very loud, as you would hope, and it's great for nothing else other than the Poison Ivy cover, Lieber and Stoller's Poison Ivy. So yeah, really like chuffed to have this. That's kind of like, I've got a surprising amount of Rolling Stone stuff now that my dad's sort of passed his legacy down to me, and I've got to admit that I was never a Stones fan, but listening to all of this, they've really, you know, I kind of see what the fuss was at the time, and I see, you know, even now they've kind of stayed true to their roots. They've had the odd track out that has maybe been a little questionable, but you know, they haven't done a Margarita Time or an In the Army now. Do you know what I mean? So just looking at you, Status Quo. So yeah, brilliant, excellent. Next is another oddity. So we've got Ooh Ya Ha by 7 Year Itch. Now, take that out of there. It does say promotional copy stamped on both sides. It's on the Cargo label with that really like shitty cover of your rough book logo there that someone spent about 10 minutes designing. But you can also see, I'm trying to turn it around, it says New Name Wham. Now, I don't think my dad would have done that. I don't know, and 7 Year Richard's being crossed out, so I don't know who's done that or where he got this from. But Ooh Ya Ya, I mean, this is one of the records that falls into that 0.001% of records that aren't in great condition. I don't know if you can really kind of see. Maybe you might not be able to kind of see. There's quite a lot of marks and scratches on it. So the A side, Ooh Ya Ya. No, actually that's the B side. The actual A side is I Wanna Make You. So I'm talking rubbish already. But when I looked it up, it was Ooh Ya Ha. That was the main track. Strangely. Yeah. Anyway, I Wanna Make It is it's quite an interesting track. It's poorly produced. It's not a great produced single at all. But there's some interesting time changes in that I Wanna Make It. It's quite an ambitious track. Ooh Ya Ha is just bollocks, personally. Sorry if it's your favourite record in the whole world, Dad. And it was, whoever bought it only paid 10p for it. But I was intrigued by that new NB New Name Wham bit, WAMM, not obviously George Michael Wham. And so I did a little bit of digging, and Whammy was a guy that was in the band, and I think it's whammy.co.uk or whammy.com, but he's got his own website. He looks like one of these guys that's constantly tried to have a shot at stardom throughout his life. There's some great little anecdotes, some great photos from sort of back in the day when they were 7 Year Itch stroke Wham. I've got a really itchy ear, sorry. And you can he's written a book, so you can buy a PDF of that for £5. You can buy some CDs of his, and he looks like he's kind of ended up over sort of in Spain, sort of doing all the pubs and clubs over there. And he seems to have made a decent enough living, and he looks happy, he looks healthy and well. And he's got his family, so fair play to him. He's managed to keep his dream alive, even if he didn't achieve the success he was looking for. He's managed to make a go of it and stay doing something that he loved. So you've got to respect that. But yeah, that's that. Next up, there's a band here. You may have heard of them, called Queen. Great little thing called Love. I used to have this before vinyl fell out of fashion. I had every single Queen single right up until the re-release of Bohemian Rhapsody. Every single 7-inch, and I sold them all for like 40 quid as a job lot on eBay, and I really regret it now because I had this with its original picture sleeve. So yeah, gutted. But yeah, crazy little thing called Love. And with the B-side of We're a Rocky, which is the live version from Live Killer, so it's like the up-tempo version that was first aired in a BBC John Peel session. It's like more of a 12-bar thing, and it's really, really good. So, not much to say about this. It's a cracking song. What I did notice in this that I've not noticed before, listening to this version, this single version, is the drums aren't very loud, particularly the kick drum. You can't hear that a lot on this mix. However, there is, for the snare beat, there's like a hand clap you can hear going on in the background, which is quite possibly, seeing as it was the first album they used synthesizers, just one of those. But it could also be Freddie and the boys just clapping their hands. So yeah, this was, I think it was the first single from the game or the second single. Either way, it did well all over the world. And obviously that album spawned another one, Bites the Dust, which kind of helped them really make some big waves in America for a brief time until the I Want to Break Free video killed all that. Anyway, that's that. Sticking with EMI, we've got Don McLean covering the classic Roy Orbison track Crying. And this is, again, it's a great little single. It sounds phenomenal, it really does. The guitar is just, it's perfect. It sounds so crisp and clear. And it kind of gives you goosebumps when you hear something like that just sounds so perfect. So yeah, is it my favourite song ever? No. It's a shame that it's got such great production on such a song that doesn't really do anything for me. On the B side, we've got Genesis in the beginning, so a bit of a biblical number, and that was by McLean. And yeah, not much to say about that except it was released in 1980. So yeah, the Stones EP was 64. The 7 Year Itch one was 1980, which I've neglected to do those because I kind of got a little bit ahead of myself. And the Queen obviously was 1979. And then the final one I have saved the best till last here. So yeah, it's just my dog. She's just sat there watching, waiting in the wings. Going through the singles, and I pulled this out. I thought, right, I'll do that one. And now I have no idea who Jim Carroll is, or his band for that matter. And I looked at that, and I looked at the title, People Who Died, and I thought, that's going to be shit. It's going to be like just some more kind of schmaltzy bollocks, a bit like Crying. And I put it on, and I couldn't have been more wrong. It's proper, like, it's just great kind of, this was released, excuse me, in 1981. And it's got that classic kind of late 70s, early 80s kind of punk new wave sound to it. It really is just a joy to listen to. And I played it about 8 times after I first put it on, and it kind of threw me that much that I actually sent a message to my dad saying, what? I wasn't expecting that from this. So yeah, Jim Carroll, The People Who Died, with a B-side of I Want the Angel from the album Catholic Boys. I've never, like I say, he can't have been massive because I've never heard of him, and I would have expected to have heard of him a little bit at that point. It's on the CBS label. It's quite a sought after single. I think it's going for about, on Discogs, I think the high end was about 30-40 quid. Again, never going to sell any of these, but it's great. I love the kind of art school promo picture where they've just got like a marker and coloured a picture in. That's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, that concludes today's 7-inch special. I hope you've enjoyed it. I have. I love going through all these and talking about them. I'm sorry my voice is a bit waffly, and I'm sorry if I've rambled on, but that's just me. That's what I do. So again, thank you for joining me. There'll be another video coming out very soon, and a channel announcement still to come. So stay tuned for that. If you like what you see, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. That will be amazing. And leave me a comment down below. I'm about to get mugged. So yeah, I'm gonna sign off now. Take care.